Hey guys, Mike from Pattern Traders. We pushed out a new version to the buys and sells, so I wanted to make a new video to go over the actual indicator itself, plus talk about the update. So before I even begin, I want to tell you guys that this specific indicator has nothing to do with crosses. Just you know how your typical buy and sell is derived from a MACD or an MA cross or whatnot, or based on volume depleting in the case what the case is. So it's not derived from any sort of crosses. The gut of the buys and sells is tied to exhaustion. So when a specific time frame that you're looking at, and I'll go over which time frames I use. When a specific time frame that you're looking at has a sell signal, all that typically says is that, hey, this 1 hour time frame has a potential to reverse here. That means that this move up exhausted the 1 hour time frame. Now again, it doesn't mean that it's always going to work, right? Because if the 1 hour has a sell but the 4 hour has a buy, it doesn't. But I'm just giving you an example. Has a buy, it will continue to poke up. Obviously the highs outweigh the lowers, right? So it doesn't mean just because you have a buy signal here, just keep punting longs until you get a sell signal and then flip short. It doesn't work that way. You could hedge, you could scout both sides. The buy signals are completely independent from the sells and vice versa. So when you do happen to see a sell signal, all that's saying is, hey, find a target or take profit zone and punt you short, because this 1 hour time frame is due for a dump, meaning that the pump that it just had, or it's that the behavior that it's currently showing is weak. In other words, right? So how I use my signals, I never take signals blind. Most importantly, I always tie them with bands, and I've been preaching this for a while, and I don't take any signals that are outside the bands. The reason why we have the bands is because we have not found a way yet, and we're working on that. We have not found a way yet pretty much to like omit stuff like this, where once you get out of the bands, you don't want to be taking these signals. I mean, this one panned out, but whatever. You know what I'm talking about, right? So these signals happen when BTC is in an apex, and then it just breaks out in one direction, right? So when you do happen to trend, either break out up or break down, I don't advise taking any signals until we get back into a range. So this indicator is money when you're ranging, when you're back into your bands and you start consolidating, either distribution or accumulation. It's money, right? So we created the TMA bands to give you an idea of red is a top zone, green is the bottom zone. So if you do happen to get a buy signal at the bottom green zone, you're more likely to go up than down, and you want to target your equilibrium, which is the orange, as a first target, and a second target will be your red band, right? So you consider it two zones completely, where you want price to bounce over here, reject, retest, and then go up. That's the perfect scenario. And then you could consolidate here, make a bear div, and then get a short signal, and then short this back to the equilibrium, retest the zone, and then crap back out. But eventually, after ranging for a while, BTC is going to eventually break out of the range. Especially on a mid time frame, you're talking about roughly about 2 to 4 weeks. And after that, once it breaks out of the range, you get something like this, where you completely dump, right? You completely dump and the bands just fall out. Let's open up the price and see what happened. You see this? So we range from, let's just catch this time over here, from August 4th until a month. We ranged a month in here. Let's turn on the signals. And then we had our sell signal, and then we dumped, and the bands caught up over here, and then you start ranging again. Start ranging until we go through our apex. I call this the apex, right? Whatever. If you look at a 4 hour time frame, this was something along the lines like this, man. I'm not gonna draw it nice, but you're gonna make me do it, aren't you? Because you're gonna think that, yeah, you see. So we consolidate, retest, dump, the resistance, dump, whatever, dump, and then boom, you break out, right? So when you break out, you want to avoid taking these signals, right? Because you're telling yourself that, hey, BTC is currently trending up. So you could be a risk taker and take every single signal and you're still gonna win more than you lose because there's like a 70-something% accuracy. I'm not quite sure what the number was. It was either, I don't know what it was, 68-70% accuracy when it comes to the signals on a higher time frame. Not the lowers. Lowers you get signals left and right. You know, like don't even take the lowers blind. You need a confluence. So that being said, you want to avoid taking signals that are outside the bands for that reason. Wait until they get back in the band. So once BTC starts ranging again, and the bands flatten out, start taking the signals. It's money. It's money. I'm telling you, it's money. So my favorite time frames when it comes to the signals, I'm going to tell you right now off the bat, I'll play the 1 hour left and right. Left and right. The 1 hour is money. No matter what happens, the 1 hour is money. 1 second, guys. Sorry about that. I had to get something. All right. So yeah, the 1 hour is money for me. I take it. I never take things blind, but I always look at where we are with the bands. If you get a buy signal at the green, it's beautiful. You get a sell signal at the red. It's beautiful, right? Especially if you have a div. I don't know if you have a div over there, but it looks like you did get a div. Yeah, you got a div over there, right? So you have a div with 2 sell signals. Ooh, boom, boom, boom. And then you'll use our oscillators for compliments. I'll go over the oscillators afterwards so you guys get an idea of how we use them. But strictly talking about the buys and sells, right? So if you're talking about spot, like if you want to buy spot and whatnot, what I do is I usually look at the 2 week, most importantly, to see if I'm trending up or down. So it's very hard. So if you get a sell signal, for example, it usually lasts for at least 3 to 4 candles. It's very hard to just flip this, right? It's very hard to just flip this. So if by all means we do happen to go flip this, based on my studies, I'm gonna be shocked. I'm not gonna lie, I will be shocked if we flip this right now. You know, I was expecting us to go at least another 4 candles before we flip this, right? Not at least another 4, total 4 plus, but 2 white candles. I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting 2 bullish candles. Anyway, so weekly is okay. I don't use it. My main go-tos for spot is my 2 week, my 5 day. 5 days money, my 3 day and my 2 day. They've been so perfect to me when I was trying to buy spot. And I'll go over the settings afterwards, how we modified them and whatnot. So that being said, when looking at trading itself, 4 hour is money, 12 hour is money. It usually paints a perfect picture as to where BTC wants to go. 1 hour is money, my own personal money. I only use the 1 hour with 4 hour confluence. This looks like it's going to try to break out. So when scalping, I look at the 15 minute, 30, and the 45. You're going to probably ask me, why do I look at the 45 minute? The 45 minute is 3 15-minute candles, right? So when you get 3 15-minute candles, you know that your entry is going to be the 15-minute candle, and then your confirmation is the 45, which makes a lot of sense. So let's put on the TMA bands again. Buy signal in the green, buy signal in the green, all red signals, all shorts at the red zone. I'm going to make these colors so you guys can see them because, oops, this way you get an idea what I'm talking about. There we go. Target equilibrium. You don't want to take any signals in the middle over here. Even if they pan out, the equilibrium is very risky. You could do it if you want, but I don't advise it. Taking signals outside the band, I don't advise it either. Like for example, look at this. All right, another poke up maybe and then die at the 500 range. That being said, so let's talk about the settings. Let's get rid of the TMA bands. So what settings do I like best? The default settings that we put are my favorite. They're personally my settings. The indicator was built around conservative, high, sorry. Conservative, high. This was how the indicator was originally built. Conservative, high. And it basically gave you safer signals that you don't have to second guess yourself, right? So the signals came at a spot where you had either a fib or whether you had a resistance or something significant for you to be able to say, you know what, I have my double confluence in my price action in technicals, right? Technical analysis. But what I found was that by tweaking the settings myself, I was able to get the indicator to spit out more signals, a little bit more risky, but at least I was able to catch more ups and downs, more tops and bottoms, right? So even though you're punting more shorts and longs, you have a better opportunity and better chance to actually catch the majority of the moves. So let's go into actually how I use the indicator. Actually, before I say that, let me show you the other settings. When scalping the 15-minute time frame, because I always scalp the 15-minute time frame, I do low because it's too noisy. Low on the 15-minute time frame works very well. You could even use it on ETH, right? It works very well. It tries to catch every single possible wick. I mean, come on, you could visually see it. You don't really get buys and sells at the wicks, right? It's a phenomenal indicator if you learn how to use it. So when you want to scalp lowers, I usually do low settings. I don't play with the conservative, man. I mean, some people might like it. You could try it. I don't personally like it. It's safer. It is safer. I'm not gonna lie to you. It is safer. I don't care for it, right? So take this off. Default. Look how beautiful this is. Look how beautiful this is. Like, come on. Look at this. Look at this. ETH has been, when scalping ETH, beautiful. Up and down, beautiful. You could try alts as well. I don't recommend alts unless you're doing a 4-hour time frame to a 12-hour time frame. You know, I don't recommend it. A 12-hour buy signal on an alt will go a long way. I tell you that much. It's hard to reverse that. But yeah, you see. But I don't. Look at this. Look how beautiful this is. You know. I still have allergies, guys. Sorry about that. So, yeah. I mean, I can't. It's self-explanatory, guys. Look at this. Look at these settings. Look at this. Look at this. Like, how do you argue, right? So, just play between default and low settings. That's all. Just play between those two. If you want to do high frequency, which means that it's pretty much a very high setting of sensitivity, you can, but you need to be a good risk manager. You need to have good risk management. I apologize. You need to have good risk management only because of the fact that you're going to get signals that are going to pop up at areas that could potentially lead to a stop out. For example, like a sell signal over here. Even though you dumped, you still went out for a retest and it took out the highs, right? Because I don't know how many highs were there, but you took out. Yeah, you took out the highs. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be careful when playing with high. Ideally, if you want to play with high, go to a higher time frame. Go on a higher time frame. Don't stick to the lower time frames. But when sticking to the lower time frames, either do low or default. It's beautiful, man. It works. You can make a lot of money. So, on a lower time frame perspective, you're gonna call me crazy, but check the 13-minute, man. The 13-minute works decent, and the 2-hour works decent. And the reason why I use them is because, based on backtesting and studies, for whatever reason, the candle count that BTC has works well for 13 minutes and 2 hours. I don't know why. I don't use it for technicals, obviously. I'm talking about indicators itself. You know, it's weird, but it works. It works. Trust me, it works. Try it out. It works. So let me tell you how I actually trade now. TMA bands on. If I'm scalping the 15-minute, I'm always looking at the 30, 45, and the 1 hour to get my confirmation. I don't take any signals outside the bands, right? This is just crazy, right? Even though I did take this, sucks, but I got burnt on this one. I got burnt over here yesterday. I lost 1 hour, unfortunately, but it's okay. I caught this short over here. Regardless, doesn't matter what I did, right? So the 1 hour is my go-to, right? Like I told you. How would I play this? Open up my oscillators, RSX and the Stoke. RSX and the Stoke, basically. So RSX is the modified version of RSI. MSTX is the modified version of the Stoke. And what I look for them is exhaustion. If I don't have a buy signal in the green zone, my TMA bands, with a dark green exhaustion, and being above the signal line, I don't take it, right? I want to be above the signal line, crossed up. I want this to be dark green with a cross, and I want to have my buy signal. Otherwise, I'm not taking it. So if I have a buy signal here, for example, right, but we don't pump until here, but I see technicals line up for this to pump, I'm taking it because I know that this time frame punted a buy maybe 7-8 candles ago, so it is still ready for reversal. Just because you get a buy, again, let me explain this to you one more time. The buy and the sell signals, all they tell you is that, hey, if you have confidence with price action, with fibs, with whatever you use, SR flips, technicals, oscillators, anything you want, once you get a buy or sell, that indicates that that time frame is ready to reverse. Now, if the other time frames above it allow it, it will reverse. There's no benefit. There's no doubt about it. You're gonna get the benefit of the doubt that it will work, right? That's how these signals work, man. They're not typical crosses where, oh, I got a MACD cross, it's gonna dump. It doesn't work that way. So, and especially if you have a higher time frame matching up to your signal, you're gonna dump like crazy. Like I'm talking about, you're gonna really dump. Like this 3 hour, this matched up with a 12 hour. So look at this dump. Imagine catching this. I think it was like 10% or 20%. There you go. Come on. Like, think about it. That's why this indicator is so beautiful, because it catches trend reversals. It's beautiful. But you just need to know how to use it, right? You have your over-under over here, which means that you're under the signal line. Your algo is active, which is dark red. Your dark red, your RSX crossed. Can't go wrong. You want to use the RSX with crosses. And then you want to use your Stoke as you being above the signal line, as a safe long and short. Sorry, excuse me. So that's pretty much how I use it. If I get my buy signal, let's go back to my 1 hour, because I've been playing it all the time. I get my buy signal, for example, over here. Right here. I get it over here. So I wait. I get my cross. I'm over the signal line. I punt the long over here. Put a stop loss over here. And then I target my equilibrium or a red zone. That's it. That's all I do. Add an extra indicator to all this. Liquidity. Obviously, I cannot show you guys how well it works from a back-end perspective because it's too far back, right? Like, I need to... Maybe I could do it this way. Actually, it's not working. There we go. It works. Okay. That's right. It does work. So, if you add the liquidity indicator, get rid of the lines because I want to see the dots. There we go. And say you punted along here. At this candle right here. Just say you punted along here. Whatever the case is. Just watch what happens to the liquidity. Actually, get this out of the way. Look at the liquidity. I know when you're playing it in playback, you're repaying, so just ignore that. You grab the 50x longs, grab the 25x longs, buy signal, Stoke is over, cross, you're definitely going to go up, man. Like, there's no doubt about it, right? You have enough confidence here. So, liquidity indicator, buy, sell signal, and these two oscillators, you should make significant amount of money. You just got to learn how to use them. And let's just speed this up a little bit. There we go. There we go. See how the liquidity has been, you get a sell signal after it takes liquidity, you get a buy signal after it takes liquidity. If you get a signal with liquidity, you take it, man. As long as you have confidence with your oscillators. Take 100x liquidity with a buy signal. Let's stop over there for a second. There you go. So basically, what I do when I see confluence is I got a buy signal here, right? I am over here. I am over here. Let's say over here. Look where I am. I'm not punting any longs over here. I'm telling you right now. I'm not punting any longs over here. I want to see algo, fire, dark green, right? Dark green, dark green, and I want to be over the signal line right here. This is your perfect bottom. Signal line is black. Your stoke line is dark green. See dark green? And your RSX crossed. You took liquidity. You came off a buy. Even though it happened here, it does not mean that this was the buy. It just says that, hey, 1 hour is still ready to reverse. Doesn't matter where it came. 1 hour is still ready to reverse. So I punted the longs here. We dumped. Got another buy signal here. You had your cross over the signal line. Punted the longs. Retest. Green zone again. Took 100x liquidity. Right? Liquidity was key. And we never saw the bottom after that. That's how I use the buys and sells. If you want to scalp, let me get rid of this real quick. If you want to scalp, use the 15-minute, which is solid on low settings. You could do default too, but you can use low for more conservative settings. Put the liquidity indicator on. 100% put the liquidity indicator on, because if you have a sell signal and you took liquidity, like up here, you are dumping. I'm telling you, you're gonna dump. You're gonna dump. More likely than not, you're going to dump. Especially if you take 100 and the 50. That means that you pumped more than you should have. You know, over under, you see stoke, black, nice RSX cross, and we've just been downtrending since. Right. So let's see what happens now. It's gonna break up, retest, and go up, or this is gonna crap out and then go back up. If you're playing the intradays, intra 1 hour, 4 hour, beautiful. I use the 2 hour also for a visual. It does help. I know people call me crazy, but it helps. 4 hours, beautiful. 12 hour for swings. 12 hour calls, big moves. If you get a signal on the 12 hour and you have your over under stoke and stuff like that, or your crosses, you know that you're gonna dump and go down. You know, right here. And then you had your retest. Then you had another retest, and then boom, caught the top. Death. I mean, that's pretty much it. I don't know what else to tell you guys. If you have any questions, let me know. But based on the thresholds, use default, because it's my personal settings. Conservative, you could use if you don't want to be risky, but I don't advise it. You're only going to get maybe 1 or 2 signals per week. And what else? And if you have good risk management, do high frequency, which is a high sensitive signal without the conservative. Take this off, which gives you a bunch of signals that tell you that you're front running the exhaustion. So the threshold for the exhaustion comes in play when the time frame could potentially exhaust. That's what the high sensitivity is. So it's a higher risk trade because it could pan out and you're going to have a bigger reward, because if it exhausts and it dumps, you're in from way before it happens. But at the end of the day, if it doesn't exhaust and it goes for a double top or a triple top, or it goes for a bear div, or you know what I'm talking about, a 3 drive and whatnot, you're going to get burned. So I don't like high sensitivity. It's just not my style. So this is what I use, default. And then if I want to just pretty much play high leverage, I go to low and I just play precise. I look at every single signal and question where we are behavior wise with my oscillators, and tell myself, all right, are we under the signal line? Good. Is the signal line exhausted? Is it black? Awesome. Right? So for example, we're under the signal line here, right? Signal line is the purple line, but it's not black. So the dump was small. We got a second sell signal after we originally came from a sell signal. The signal line, and right now the signal line is exhausted. It's black. You know you're gonna go down, right? Same with this. First signal line, second signal, first signal, second signal, third signal. Chances are, if we go for a fourth poke, this is gonna bring down the whole house. You don't really get four sell signals in a row. That's why I'm highly positive that this is going to be a terrible rug pull for us, unfortunately. Whatever poke we get is going to end up in a rug pull. I mean, that's about it. If you have any questions, guys, DM me. I hope you enjoyed the video. And let me know. Let me know what you think.